All right, so 1090 is out. To no one's surprise, it's an absolute delight. I absolutely love whenever Luffy is on the transponder snail Den Mushy, just because it's wonderful. It's always him announcing himself and then not caring who's on the other end and proceeding to threaten them. And this is no exception. So we have Luffy being like, hey, this is Monkey D. Luffy, the man who's going to become king of the pirates. Yeah, he is. And then he proceeds to threaten the Gorosei. If you go after the figures on top of that bookshelf, we're going to have issues. Yeah, lick your paw. Silly kitty. Yeah, threatens York if the Marines don't pull back. And the Gorosei are taking advantage of the situation, trying to ask him questions about how many of the Straw Hats kind of survived the assault and attack with the seraphims and everything last night. Luffy, of course, starts to answer, but is cut off by saying, no, don't answer that, now hang up. One of the elders recognizes the voice, sort of. He might not actually recognize the voice, but it's Jupiter, and saying a woman's voice. Could that be Nico Robin? If he actually recognized the voice and he had something to do with O'Hara, was there, that'd be kind of interesting, but I really think it was just it's a woman's voice. Maybe this is Nico Robin, implying that they're also still looking for her and taking any opportunity to see if she's alive and what they can do about it. Cutting to the panel, we see my darling angel, done nothing wrong in her entire life, Nico Robin, sitting there injured with a bandage to her forehead. I'm upset because how dare someone hurt her in the time that has passed. But she's fine. Everything's fine. And she starts explaining to Luffy, and this is a complete bonus and like win for the official translation, because she says that information is a weapon. Do not give your enemies weapons, in reference to Luffy nearly answering all their questions. Whereas the unofficial one is something along the lines of they were just trying to get more information if you had kept talking. And the idea of information being a weapon and her understanding that now compared to when she was a child, we're just doing research. Why would the government want to hurt us? And now she's like, I know this information, this knowledge can be used as a weapon, so any amount, and she's very hesitant on it. It's just very much in her character to recognize that, and I loved it so very much. We get a cut to Big News Morgan and my darling angel Vivi, as they're hearing Luffy's voice over the transponder snails, and we know she's fine, that's all that matters, she's safe. And then we cut to Saturn, who is on the ship with Kizaru, and they're going to the island, and he makes a comment that, like, their priorities are to secure everything that they need to continue to make the Mother Flame, and by extension, York's safety, and Vegapunk's brain, Punk Records. And then someone comes up to him, I think it's the Doberman guy, and is just like, well, what about the CP0 agents? Like, surely we're not going to sacrifice them. And he's just like, I'm talking about a worst case scenario. These are the three things we cannot afford to lose. Humans are like insects. They'll always multiply again and will make up our losses. Like, that's how little he cares about humanity. Terrible. It's a terrible human being, this man. But it does make me remember that there were some theories floating around that maybe he was one of the good ones and was secretly coming to help. Clearly not. He's all for everyone getting murdered. If anyone is going to be either a good of the five elders or possibly the complete worst, my money's on Jupiter, just because it's like Saint Shepherd something Jupiter. Anyone whose name is Shepherd is either going to be so pure-heartedly good or completely evil. There is no in between, and I'm interested to see which one he's going to fall into. York immediately starts crying and screaming, saying, you can't hurt me, I have the protection of the five elders and the entire Navy. If you do anything to me, you'll burn just like O'Hara. They'll burn this entire island down like it. And I'm just like, excuse you, what did you just say about O'Hara? Like, I'm so angry. Nami has my reaction and proceeds to beat her, not taking the phrasing of, bringing up O'Hara very kindly. Thank you, Nami, darling angel. This, of course, causes Robin to smile, and I'm very happy for that. Chopper's taking care of her, asking about her injuries, and she's complimenting his doctor skills. He's blushing. Gorgeous. And then you have Lucci mumbling in the background, totally not being obvious as he's sending information back to the government. My money's on the pigeon, Hattori, however you pronounce his name. It's either going to be in his hat or in his tie or something like that. Some kind of transponder that he's getting a signal out with. Usopp checks in with the other CP whatever number agents that are down on another level, and they have been sort of released and given food, and they're taking care of him, and now they're all very happy with the Straw Hats. It's like, yeah, you guys are our enemies, but you fed us and you saved us from the Seraphim, so we're very happy with you. We don't really trust the clone Seraphims down here, though. Like, what are we doing with them? And in the official and unofficial, one of them says, like, we had to put them in pretty much bubble jail, because what if they go rogue, or what if they go haywire, because they could be acting a little bit weird, or if they get an order, they're going to turn on them. I'm really hoping that going haywire or going rogue is hinting that they're going to get free will and start their own pirate crew and go on off. 50-50 shot on whether or not they would go after who they were cloned from, and so they could be like the original, or they'll turn on the government specifically for being created and controlled. 50-50 shot. I don't know what I want more. I don't think I want baby Boa going with older Boa. I feel like that combination will just be dangerous for everybody involved. I would love to see little Mihawk go to attack adult Mihawk, because they'll fight, and older Mihawk, original Mihawk, will just be like, I can train you, and it would be a delight. Crocodile and little Crocodile would be terrifying, as he'd have like a little protege that he can raise up to go after his empire and everything there. Two Doflamingos would burn the world down. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just don't want Doflamingo to come near the clone Doflamingo, because that would psychologically traumatize that child more than he already has been. We don't need that. Vegapunk talks about how Baby Boa couldn't resist helping Luffy, probably because original Boa also wanted to help and protect Luffy. So I guess we also have a little bit more set timeline on when the clones were made, just because it had to have been after the time when Boa met Luffy for it to be passed down, this love for him or respect for him, need to please him, something, through either the unofficial calls it a lineage factor, and the official called it bloodline element. So that's a little bit for timeline. I'm not sure how I like it, because it should be enough time to have passed. You think if you clone somebody, they start as like cells, and then they have to age and grow up, hence why they're children. But like, that would be, what, 2, 3 years, 4 years? I feel they would be smaller. York is talking about how she locked them out of the barrier thing and set to a password. Her mind's not hooked up and synced with the other Vegapunks, and she's not going to tell them, so they have to hack into this area to put the barrier down. And what got me, though, is during this time, Sanji comes up and offers Stussy coffee. And that's fine, all well and good. Brush right past it in the unofficial translation, but the official translation says, Stussy, welcome back. Where was she gone? I want to trust her because I love her. She's adorable. However, what if she's not just a double agent for Vegapunk? What if she's a triple agent and is actually working for... I'm leaning towards the clones because she herself is a clone and she might be teaming up with them somehow because free will. They're going to be their own pirate crew. Or she could have actually turned and went with the governments. I don't know. I don't want her to betray us, but I'm fearful that she is. And what was she doing when she was away from the group? But most importantly, we get the confirmation that one of the needles on the watches are going to Elbath. So that's their plan to escape, is to head in that direction. So we're finally getting to the land of giants. Luffy and Usopp are celebrating to high heavens about this. I'm so excited because A, that means there's no way we're going to Elbath without Usopp getting some kind of power-up. I can't wait to see what he does on this island, and new weapons or powers or ideology, something. I can't wait. Robin can be reintroduced with Saul. I'm so happy. Luffy will probably get like a story or two of what Shanks is like when he's there, because no way Shanks is going to still be there when we get there, but we'll hear stories about him and his adventures there and his weaker crew, and not crew, the fleets that he protects. We might get Kid washing up on shore again. Who knows? I'm excited. I'm so excited. Vegapunk is happy that Frankie says that if they go off on the Vega Force 1 to clear the island, then the Sunny can take it from there and continue to fly. He's like, oh, it can fly for a full kilometer? That's excellent. And Frankie's like, yeah, it runs on cola. Cola? And I love it so very much. So we have Luffy and, who else? Frankie and Bonnie and Lilith, that's who it is. Going out to get to the Vega Force 1 to and clear the path and bring the Sunny around back because they're going to escape through the back exit. However, we get a moment of Bonnie saying how, oh, Sanji can cook and fight, like an attractive man kind of thing. She seems to be into him. And Luffy says, like, hey, you're in an awful good mood, better than when you were crying all yesterday. And Bonnie says, yeah, I'm no longer planning on killing Vegapunk, and no, I was not crying, leave me alone. So I'm hoping that means that she got answers for her father and everything with him and Vegapunk, and hopefully that means we'll get answers soon, because quite honestly, I got zero idea. We know he was being tortured. He's the king. He was the king of this island. He was thought to be a tyrant, which we know is not true. And he was being tortured and brought back and beaten. He had to go back to some kind of prison, or else someone would kill everybody else. So I'm very excited to see what the hell's going on. We know very little about Kuma and his area. I think he's from the South Blue, which is the same area that Ace was born, which means presumably Roger was in that General Sea area at some point in time, and I'm pretty sure that's more or less all we know about the South Blue area in the Sorbet Kingdom. I got nothing. I got literally nothing about who could be after them and why he had to leave, why he was thought to be a tyrant. Is it something like a situation where someone like Dofi framed him for something? I got nothing. Oh, actually, I do have something. I'm currently working under the assumption that he is of the race that is lacking from Big Mom's island. Speaking of Big Mom, I do hope we meet her at Elbath too, because obviously her story had something to do with Elbath as well. She got kicked out from there, and her story cannot be over. I will be so disappointed if Wano is the conclusion of her story. I do not want that. So she needs to come back, preferably Elbath. I think there's a theory going around about her connection with CP0 or some CP agents, as some of the children from that island have similarities to the mass CP0 ones that we've seen before. And we know that Mother Carmel had been selling people to the government, so chances are some of them made them into high rankings. And the fact that we have Stussy with us now kind of hints that we might get possible information on agents who could have known Big Mom. I really need her to come back because her story right now is very unsatisfying. Lucci gets his report to the fleets and they pass it along, and now the government is aware of the Straw Hat standing along with Vegapunk and who's on what side and what's going on. And I'm going to give this point to the unofficial translation, because in the official translation, if I hadn't read the unofficial first, I'd be a little bit confused, because it sounds like the Saturn is saying, hey, Kizaru, did you read Lucci's report? And Kizaru says, yeah, he talks a big game, but it sounds like he's held hostage, yada yada. And it sounds like to me he's talking about Lucci, like Lucci is talking big game, I've got this covered. No worries, but really he's in trouble because he's being held captive, talking about the reports. No, in the unofficial translation, it is extremely clear. It's like Straw Hat talked a big game, meaning when he was talking to the Gorosei previously, but really they're trapped and are trying to run. So point to the unofficial translation for clarity. But Kizaru now has all the knowledge of what's going on the island and is preparing to go in, but he knows he's got to go after and stop Sentomaru first. Gorosei is like, can't you just fly over him? And he's like, no, he's an old friend. I gotta treat him with respect. I'm playing this one by the books. I'm going to fight him. So he goes over, and we have the clash of Kizaru's attack versus Sentomaru's ultimate defense. Big explosion must happen because we cut to Luffy as a complete utter shock, saying someone very powerful has just arrived or is coming, something like that. And there's a little note both in the official and unofficial saying a light from below, or what's causing that light down there. So I'm assuming it's referring to down there or below, as in like they're on a hill and Kizaru and Sentomaru are fighting on a lower plane down on the island and the light's just coming up from there. But you have these little bubble things behind Luffy's head that I'm just like, I would not be surprised if Kizaru just like spawns in front of them in the very next panel of the next chapter. I'm so excited. I didn't want Luffy to fight Kizaru, really. I wanted that to go to either Sanji or Zoro. I'm more excited to see one of them fight him, because I want Luffy going directly after Saturn, but I'll take them fighting. That's fine. I am very excited to see where we go. I'm excited to get to Elbath. I'm excited for literally everything. Egghead is going fantastic. All right, that is all I got right now. I will talk to you later. Bye. Ooh, it's a cat. Oh, it's a cat. Hi. What are you doing? Will you let me do a video? If you let me do a video and you behave, I can get you a cat treat. Yeah? Hi.